will start and then I continue letting people in as they come. So, hi everyone. I'm so happy to see this big number of people interested in Google Ads. I know we've covered in previous webinars a lot on Facebook advertising and the pixels and how to do tracking and all of these things. So I'm really happy to have today a webinar on Google Ads, everything from setup to optimization. And I'm very happy also as well to have Annie with us today. If you've seen her bio on the events page, you know that she comes with a lot of experience having worked directly at Google. So hopefully she has some extra secret that she can share with us directly from Google as well. So she's a specialist and digital marketing consultant with a more specific focus on Google Ads, Google Analytics, and also Meta advertising. She also has a lot of knowledge working in the whole campaign process, from the optimization to the targeting, and really setting up return on investment focused strategies. She has also worked with NGOs, which is a little different, but that also means that she has a understanding of working with somehow a limited budget and not for huge brands. That I think she's going to have a lot of insights for us today that would be really useful for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Welcome, Annie, and thank you very much for accepting to spend some of your time with us today. Um, Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jennifer, and hello, everyone. And good evening. I'm not sure what time zone everyone is joining from, but for me, it's 5 p.m., so good evening. So thanks, Jennifer, for a very lovely introduction. I will try to keep it. I know we have a diverse audience from small businesses who are just starting with digital advertisement, but also from some people who, as Jennifer mentioned, has already worked with Meta and other digital tools. So I'll try to keep it broad, not boring for those who already know things, but also not too technical for people who are just starting out. So hopefully we can have something for everyone. So I will just share my screen. I've prepared a little bit of slides to keep track of where we're going. So let's start. Cool. So I will skip over this slide a little bit as Jennifer already introduced me. So my name is Anni and I come from Finland. I used to work for Google for until last year before I now moved to Switzerland, where I'm now based and working for the ITC. So let's start a little bit from, oh, sorry, this is not collaborating with me. There we go. So today we're going to be covering first why Google Ads and what Google Ads are. Then we're going to go through Google Ads basics, and I will provide some resources on the account setup. So there will be a lot of links, not a lot, a couple of links in this presentation, and this presentation will be shared to you after we've gone through it. So you can then go to these resources on your own time so that we save time today. So after that, after the Google Ads basics and account setup, we will go through a little bit of keyword research and targeting strategies. Then we will touch upon how to create a high-performing ad. Then we will look a little bit what kind of ads are performing in different levels of the sales funnel. Then we will talk about bidding strategies, budgeting, and finally we'll touch on how do you know if your ads are actually performing well. So measuring and performance. So first, let's cover what Google Ads are. So when somebody says Google, everyone immediately thinks of search ads, but Google actually has a lot of other elements. So they have search ads, but they also have display ads, they have shopping ads, Gmail ads, and YouTube ads. I will show an example of each of these so that we are all on the same page of what these ads actually are. So this right here is a search ad. This looks exactly like a regular search result, except for this little um, icon in the top left that says that this is an ad. This one right here with the blue arrows pointing at them, this is a display ad. So this, everyone has seen these when they scroll through news articles or they're looking at the weather. These are normally image ads that are on websites trying to convey you to come to their websites, view their products, or and so on and so on. This one right here, this is a shopping ad. So if you would have a product feed on your website, you might make shopping ads and be featured in this carousel when somebody is looking for a product that you sell. And this one is a YouTube ad. We've all been interrupted by ads on YouTube when we are trying to watch our favorite videos or prevented from starting them before watching a couple of ads, depending on which geographical area you are in, depends how many you have to watch. But these are very, sometimes very engaging, easy to interact with. As you can see here, you can see that this is an ad. You can skip it, and for the rest of your video watching experience, you will also see it in the top corner here. That's the call to action of that person wanting you to come to their website. And finally, we have Gmail ads. So if you use Gmail as your main inbox, you've seen these ads that seem like regular emails that are coming your way, but are actually ads trying to get you to go to their website. And you recognize them by the icon of ads. So now that we've covered what those ads are on Google's platforms, then I think it's very important to convey why to use these Google ads to begin with. So Google is still today the most used search engine in the world, even with the emergence of AI and other search tools. Google is still the number one where people go when they're trying to find a product. So if you want to be where your clients are when they are searching for the product, you need to be on Google. So to get on Google, ads are not the only way to get there, but to get ranked higher in Google, it is easier to use Google Ads than to try to get there organically. That's one thing why I use Google Ads. One other thing is you can get access to all of these different platforms that we just covered by using just one platform, Google Ads. You can reach audiences in all of these platforms. The third one, I think, is the most unique one that when it comes to Google in comparison to traditional advertising. So Google Ads only uses pay per click model, PPC. So, for example, Meta takes some advertising budget for your impressions, but Google actually only takes out of your advertising budget when somebody clicks on your ad. So this one makes it a very budget efficient and brings me to the next point, better ROI, so return on investment, than traditional marketing. So in traditional marketing, you might have a billboard or you might have a magazine advertising where 90% of the people who view it are actually not part of your target audience, which is why you are, so to say, wasting your advertising dollars. So this is not the case with Google Ads. This is why Google Ads is good for higher return on investment. Getting more clients, that one is quite obvious. The power of internet, we all know as we are part of e-commerce. And then the last one, learning about your audience. I think this one is absolutely crucial. You get so much data out of your advertising campaigns that you can later on use in your refining your advertising. You can get data on, we'll go deeper into this a little bit in the presentation, but you can get data on what kind of devices are they using, from what geographical area are they from, at what time are they scrolling. All is crucial for refining your ads. And obviously with ads, you wouldn't get this. So now that we've covered what they are and use them, we can go ahead and talk about account structure a little bit. So here is the first link that I mentioned that you will get when you get these slides. This one is a video where it shows you step by step how to start your Google Ads account. It is incredibly simple. You will need your business information, you will need an email address, and you will need your payment information. And it will guide you through step by step, but we won't have time to cover that here, but you will get this resource afterwards. So once you have set up your account, we are now in the top level of this image, you can then, within this account, have multiple campaigns. This is similar to meta advertising, if many of you are already familiar with that. So in the account, you can have multiple campaigns in which you have multiple ad groups, in which you have multiple ads. So what you set in the campaign level is the marketing objective. So we will go a little bit deeper into the marketing funnel. I keep mentioning marketing funnel. I will show a little drawing of that in a second, but different levels of marketing objectives might be awareness, consideration, conversion. So you set this marketing objective, your marketing goal, at a campaign level. So if you wish to create a campaign that is conveying just your existence, you want to get more clients to know that you exist, this would be an awareness ad. You would then, within this campaign, choose different ad groups. You might have different audiences. For example, middle-aged women and younger women. If your campaign, let's say, is about shoes, you might need completely different ads, ad images, ad copy, the headlines, the descriptions about this product to different audiences, which is why you can break down campaigns into ad groups and then into ads. I hope this all makes sense. So let's move on. So then, how does Google actually work? Google Ads, I mean, and Google. So they use an auction system, but it's not a completely traditional auction. So in a traditional auction, you would have somebody who is bidding, and if you bid higher, you win them. The highest bidder is going to win the auction. Google doesn't want this to be the case because only if this was the case, only millionaires and billionaires and really high corporates could be able to advertise. And Google doesn't want this to be the case. So they have made a system called ad rank. So how high do you rank in the Google search results, which is based on quality score and your bid. So the bid obviously does matter, but that is not the only thing that matters. So then the next natural question would be, how do I get my quality score to be as good as possible so that I can make my bid as small as possible? That is a great question, and I think this is the now moving on to the optimization part almost of advertising. So to get the quality score high, you will need to have a high quality ad. You get a high quality ad if you have a relevant and high quality keywords and a high quality relevant headlines, descriptions, and cost to actions. So everything that the ad is actually built from. Let me just go back quickly to my first slide where I showed an example of an ad. So here you can see this uppermost line. This one is a headline. This one is actually two headlines. This one and this one are headlines. This body text underneath, this one is a description. So clearly this company is called Upwork. They want to have their business name in their headline, and then they want to explain what do they do. These blocks over here, these ones are site links, or they can be call outs. You will have a larger ad the more you add onto it. So this is the absolute basic bare minimum that you need to add into an ad. a headline and a description, and then you can add more things. But now that that's out of the way, now we all know what we're talking about when we're talking about headlines and descriptions. I will go back to where we were, which was the previous slide here. So when you get your, how do you get your ad relevance high is by having high relevance headlines and descriptions. All right, so what are those? Those are directly in communication in what you have on your website. So this is an important thing to think about. How does Google know who you are and what your business does? The only thing that Google can see is your website. So if you have on your website, you have perfectly aligned what your impact is, what your products are, what you're offering, all of these things. This is great. But if you have a mediocre website where you don't actually get the information, then Google can't read that information either. So to get high quality headlines and descriptions, you need to make those similar or even the same as the text on your website. This is like crucial in getting your headline and description ad relevance score high. Hopefully that makes sense. There's a lot of a lot of content in there. So we already kind of skipped onto this slide, which is writing a compelling ad. So we were just now we were covering this topic, having your website content up to date. So let's go back to the first topic over here. What is the campaign objective? We already talked about a little bit of awareness, consideration, and conversion ads. So I've got another slide here. So if you think about your ad, how do you write a compelling ad? To me, the question then is, to what stage of this funnel or this pyramid at the moment are you targeting your ads to? So if you work backwards from your goal, which is obviously somebody making the purchase on your website, if you work backwards from that, what do they need to do in order to make a purchase? They need to check out. This is already in the consideration stage. Before they can check out, what do they need to do? They need to add the product to the cart. Before they can do that, they need to view your product page. Before they can do that, they need to visit your website. Before they can do that, they need to view your ad. And before that, you need to somehow make them stop scrolling. So to write a compelling ad, you need to first think about what is the stage of this funnel or this pyramid that I'm trying to target. So if it is the consideration stage and it is to view your product page, this one would have a different type of headlines and descriptions. This one might be about the unique traits of this product. This might be for someone who is considering wanting to do more research. They want to maybe download your newsletter. This is different from someone who is viewing your ad and you as a first time, because this ad might then be about your brand, about what do you offer, rather than the details of those offerings. So I think the first thing in writing a compelling ad is thinking about this. Who are you targeting and at what point of this pyramid are they in? So to go back to the slide we were on previously. So yes, we've talked about now what campaign objective is, at what stage are you on. We've also talked about how do you get those headlines and descriptions to be of high rank, which is how you combine it with the content on your website. So the next point would be when you create your ad on Google Ads, we won't have time to go through that hand in hand, but when you do, there will be easily prompted questions. Add headlines here. They might be asking you for 15 headlines. my personal advice to you is add as many headlines as possible, add as many descriptions as possible, and add as many logos, images, assets, they are called, as possible. Google nowadays works primarily with AI as automation. So, in order to give that algorithm as much to play with as possible in comparison, no, in combination to your website content, this will get your ad rank higher, which, as we learned in the previous slide, then means that you have a higher chance of getting those higher search results, even if you have a smaller bid. Cool. So if we now move on to the keyword research, because we've talked about headlines and descriptions, but how do you then find good keywords? For those who are a little bit more advanced, who have already played around with Google Ads and know everything so far that I've been talking about is super easy, they can visit this site called Google Search Console. Google Search Console is a website where you can add your own website and see how you are performing in Google. You can you will have to add a little plugin to your website, but you will then be able to look how you're ranking and towards what keywords in what placements. So this is an incredibly useful tool for those who are a little bit more advanced. For us normal people, I will show you a tool called Keyword Planner, and I have a screenshot of it here. It's integrated into Google Ads, so it will be on the platform where you are creating the ads itself. I will show you very quickly how it works. Um, there we go. So if you were here, this is now my personal Google Ads account. You would be finding the keyword planner in the left-hand side menu. You would then go into the Discover New Keywords element, and you would start adding keywords. So let's say that I'm now based in Switzerland. This is important because this is a place specific result. So you will put the location here to advertise. So for me, if I wanted to advertise green beans and beans and specialty coffee, this is my ask for Google now. I will say get results, and I would get a very good list of different keywords that I could be using and how many people on average on monthly basis are searching for this keyword, how much competition there is for this keyword. So whether it is highly competed over, this will mean that the price is also higher. If it's a low competition keyword and has a lot of average monthly searches, and it would be exactly what I want to advertise in, this would be the kind of keyword that I would choose for campaign. But you can play around with this once you have your account. I just wanted to draw your attention to it. There is also, just as a tip, I would be also using AI. So using ChatGPT, or Google has its own AI tool called Gemini, where you can add your own URL, your website URL. You will paste it in there and say, I am creating a Google Ads campaign. Can you please give me 20 keywords that are relevant for this business? Don't just use them as such, but then put those keywords into the keyword planner and look whether they are highly competed over, whether they receive clicks, and then make decisions. But this is the type of AI use which is incredibly useful. You can get ideas from it and then you test it out on the platform before using them. Hope that is useful. So this one we already went over. So then a little bit more about keywords and audience targeting. So we have three different types of keywords. We have broad match, phrase match, and exact match. And I will explain what these mean. So I will give an example because it's easier easier to understand through an example always. A broad match keyword. Okay, I'll first give the example. I will be searching in Google for dog toys. Okay, I want to buy a toy for my dog. And in case the advertiser has used the broad match keyword, if I wrote in cat toys, it might pick up and say, oh, it is somehow um, in relation to pets, it is somehow in relation to toys. Maybe you would also like to see these results. So it's very broad. Google has a lot of interpretation around um, whether to show my product or not. Then if we go to phrase match, a little bit more narrow. So if I would type in um, dog toys, maybe somebody bid for a keyword that was puppy toys. So puppies are indeed dogs. So maybe I would like to see toys that are friendly for puppies who are losing teeth, and maybe that would be something that I would want to see. So phrase match would be the right term to use. Then there is exact match. So exact match keyword would be that somebody bid for the word dog toy in those exact terms using the same spacing, the same letters, the same everything. And only then, if I searched those words, would their ad come up. So why would you want to have different types of keywords? Is exact kind match keywords would be very useful brand names or for if you're advertising for medicine, if you're advertising for something very specific, you want to have very strict search terms that only come up when being searched. But in broad match, let's say you are a clothing business and somebody does a very vague Google search of I would like to buy a winter jacket. You can have so many different types of results from that. So it really depends on what type of business you are, what type of customers you would like. You can play around with them, and this again, very to me very interesting to always read from the data. If you would try, for instance, the same word in two different match types and see how they perform, you would have them rolling for a month and then say, oh, actually, we get double the amount of clicks because we have a phrase match keyword. So this is all trial and error with each and every business because everyone is such a unique advertiser. But now you know what they mean. So then we have negative keywords. I will go through an example as well because it's easier to understand. A negative keyword is something, let's say that I sell high heels. I sell only black leather high heels. That's the only thing that I sell. And if somebody would write into Google, wooden red high heels, I would not want to come up because that's not my product. So, but I know that in previous searches, I have come up and that's why my advertising budget has been used. And that's really frustrating to me. So I would then add in my negative keywords, I would add red high heels or wooden high heels because this is not relevant to my product. And I don't want to come up when somebody is searching for something that is not my product. So these are negative keywords. So then moving on to audience targeting. So audience targeting, in my opinion, is the number one asset that Google has. So Google holds a lot of data on people, and they know, for example, the country that I live in, or that I have been Googling dog toys, or they know that I might maybe own a dog because I have been Googling those things. They know that I'm a young female. They know these things about me. So if I was someone who is selling these dog toys, this this information would be incredibly valuable to me. I would want to know that when I'm advertising, that these ads are actually landing in front of people who want to buy from me. So Google obviously has this data. So then, in order to um, access this feature, I need to introduce yet another concept, but we'll get to it. So there is something called push advertising and pull advertising. So this is always from the point of view of the advertiser. So if I'm an advertiser, then push advertisement would be when I push an advertising onto your feed. So for example, on Google, these would be YouTube ads. As you know, they've been pushed in the middle of your video when you didn't want them. Or this would be a display ad, or this would be Gmail ad. These kind of ads that are coming your way without you searching for anything. A pull ad is then search ads and other types of advertising where you're not going to the client, but the client is coming to you. You can only use audience targeting on push advertising. So you can only go to that audience if you're using the type of campaigns such as YouTube, display that we mentioned before. So you can't use audience targeting on everything, but I still find it one of the most useful things on Google. On audience targeting, you can also use competitor data. So if have, you know that in your region you have 6 competitors who are doing the same thing in business as you are, you can add in their websites and give Google a sign saying people who visit these types of websites might also be interested in my business because we have the similar product. You can also access this by doing audience targeting. And then there's something called retargeting, which is also a very, very useful tool um, in getting people who have already heard of you and visited your website coming back to you and finalizing the purchase or the goal on your website that you want them to complete. So how do you do audience targeting and get all of this data is by linking analytics and Google Ads together. I've got this video over here where, again, we won't have time to watch it right now, but once you get these slides, it's made by Google Analytics themselves. So it's very clear and step-by-step process of how to link this data onto your Google Ads. So then, why would you want to do this is twofold. To get access to obviously all of those features, but to me, the number one thing I would like you to walk away from this webinar with is um, knowing that when you open your Google Ads account, you will need to do conversion tracking. So this is the same thing as Pixel in Meta. So in order to get all of this data, how your ads are performing, who are we targeting, on what device are they on, at what time, from what country, all of this data. In order for you to get this, you need to have conversion tracking in place. And Google Analytics will help you do that. I think. Oh yes. So then I've also added a link here for people who want to go a little bit step deeper than Google Analytics. There is something called Tag Manager, Google Tag Manager. This is not a mandatory step, but people who want to go in the advanced level, this is something you can look into tracking as well. You get the same features, but in a little bit more niche level. Um, so yeah, then let's talk about budgeting and bidding strategies. So this I know will be a mouthful and will be a lot. So this is for those advanced users. This is if you are just starting with Google Ads, you can obviously listen, but this is a little bit for those towards who are a little bit more advanced. So when you have conversion tracking in place, you will have an option to use automated bidding strategies. In the past, we've used manual bidding strategies. What this means is, remember when we talked about that auction system, you would have manually put, I will want to use $1 in order to bid for this keyword. And this would have taken a lot of work. This used to be people's full-time job to be bidding for different keywords. But now that automation has come, it is really difficult, if not impossible, to compete with the automating bidding strategies. So this is yet another reason why you need to have conversion tracking in place so that you can access these automated bidding strategies. So let's go through them. We have got two buckets of bidding strategies, two that are volume-based and two that are value-based. The volume-based ones are the first one, maximize conversions, and the third one, CPA, cost per acquisition. So maybe I'll backtrack a little bit. When I say conversion tracking, I said it's similar to Pixel, but maybe it's useful to explain it open a little bit. So conversion tracking would be something that you implement on your website, tags that gather data on key points that you want for the client to complete on your website. This might be just visiting your website, scrolling for 30 seconds. This might be viewing your product page. This might be downloading your newsletter. This might be completing the purchase. There's many, many different types of conversions you can have, and depending on the business, it will be different for each and every one of you. So if we use maximize conversions bidding strategy, we are telling Google, out of these conversions that I've now tracked on my website, I want you to treat them as equal and maximize the amount you can get to me. So it doesn't matter if it's harder or easier, whereas if it's a purchase or a page view, they will be equal, but I want you to maximize the volume that you can get to me. The CPA one is then cost per acquisition. So I will tell Google, get me as many as possible, but I will set a ceiling for you on how much am I willing to pay from this conversion. So let's say I will put my CPA for $3. I'm not willing to pay more than $3 for someone to download my newsletter, because otherwise I can't just be paying $3 every time somebody visits. This is also highly dependable on what the is like, how many visitors you get, what your product is like, how much the cost per that acquisition should be. So that $3 was a complete example, of course. But so these are the volume-based bidding strategies. So now moving on to the value-based bidding strategies, we have got the second one, maximize conversion value. So let's use these same examples of page view, newsletter, and product sale. You might have different, as an e-commerce business, you might have different products which are all costing a different amount. You might have a $10 product and a $100 product on your website. So when you say to Google, in this campaign, please maximize the conversion value, know value of the product, it will then either go find 10 people who can pay $10 and buy this product, or it will go find one person who can buy this $100 product. So when you tell it to maximize the conversion value, it doesn't look at volume anymore. It looks at how much money is coming in. And then the next step from that is ROAS. The letters come from return on ad spent. So once you have given the value of your product, let's use this $10 product as an example again. let's say that you use $2 in your advertising before somebody buys your product. That then means that you've used $2, but you've gained 10. So your ROAS would be 500%. So ROAS is always in percentages. So you made a return of 500% on your ad spent. So these are the different ways you can tell Google to optimize the advertising budget that you are giving it. These are different bidding strategies. Again, I know that that's like a lot, so um, it's totally okay if that went a little bit over someone's head. That's fine. So then, talking about budget. Budget is something that always comes up, and I hope that I could give you a clear answer on how much you should be spending, but it varies a lot depending on your market, your competitors, your audience size, your products. So it's almost impossible to say how much to spend. Um, that being said, my rule of thumb, based on my experience marketing in EU, so if you are targeting your ads to any EU country, you might use this as a rule of thumb. But if not, Google does give you estimations and suggestions on how much to use. So my rule of thumb over here would be €5 a day for one country. So if you want to advertise your product for a month to Germany, for instance, you might think, okay, this €5 a day, which equals to 150 a month, will cover Germany. And then next month I will go to Lithuania or the Netherlands or wherever it is that your audience is in. But again, this is just my rule of thumb that I wanted to give you as a tip, rather than a rule that you should follow. So I believe this is my last slide. So how do you know your ads are performing well? So there are some key metrics to follow, which we can go through. 1, cost per click. 2, click-through rate, conversion rate, and ROAS. So cost per click is quite self-explanatory. How much are you paying when somebody clicks on your ad? That is a good indicator of whether you are maybe bidding on too high keywords, high competition keywords, or whether your ad quality is a little bit down because you are paying so much. Click-through rate is how many people clicked on your ads divided by how many times it was shown. So if it was shown 100 times and 50 people clicked on it, that would be an incredible click-through rate. Half of the people clicked on it. Conversion rate is then how many people clicked on your ad divided by, no, the other way. How many people converted divided by how many people clicked on your ad. So let's say 10 people came on your site, they clicked on your ad, but only one of them converted. It would still be a 10% conversion rate, which would be great. And then ROAS, which we already talked about, return on ad spend. So if you follow these key metrics, which will be displayed to you on your Google Ads account, you have a really good idea of how well your ads are performing. Then finally, I wanted to introduce you if you haven't tried A/B testing before. So A/B testing is something where you split your ad into two using the same budget so that you can see which one is performing better. So let's say from the very beginning, I used an example of shoes. So if you wanted to use pictures you wanted to use different types of pictures, or you wanted to use different types of headlines, you wanted to use different types of descriptions, you can test out with the same budget which is performing better. So this is an incredible tool, especially when you're starting out. um, to know how your ads are performing, because this one saves your budget as it splits it into these tests, A/B tests. And then obviously what I said before as well, if I want you to remember one thing, it is conversion tracking. So how you know your ads are performing well is by tracking them. So if you have your conversion tracking in place, you will know whether your ads are performing well. You will get data on users, new users. You will get their average engagement time. You can see from what page did they always land to, what page did they always exit from what type or what source did the traffic come from? Did it come from your ads? Did it come organically? Did it come from your social media? And on what type of device were they on, in what country? You can get all of this data through conversion tracking, which will then help you file your ads to to your audience. So I think I have taken a lot of my time. So thank you for your attention. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if there is anything, any questions or anything that is obviously we will now go into questions in this session as well. But if there's any extra that we wouldn't have the time to cover today, you can find me there with my name over there.
Thank you, Annie. I have a few general comments because I'll say them in a few minutes. In the meantime, just for everyone, I'm gonna launch a poll, the usual poll, that everybody knows so well. I would encourage everyone to fill it out. It just basically takes a few seconds. You should see it coming up as a pop-up on your screen. So you can do that in the meantime. And any question you have, please feel free to add it in the chat. I don't think we've had any questions so far. Basically, probably everyone was focused on the presentation. So if you have any question, feel free to add them here after you complete the survey. In the meantime, I'll chat a little bit with Annie. Um, One thing I've noticed is I do the same basically presentation as well on Facebook advertising, and I've noticed it's basically exactly the same in terms of ranking the ads, in terms of following the awareness, consideration, conversion, the different type of ads. So it seems like the algorithm and the process is all the same, and it was quite interesting to see. I mean, I know Google Ads in general, but I felt like it was me giving the presentation. You were using the exact same words and it's the exact same approach, but on a completely different tool itself. So that was really interesting to see. I'm not sure if you use also Meta ads. How would you compare them in terms of return on investment? Let's call it the same, because we can agree that it's very much similar in structure.
Hmm, it's a great question. They function really similarly, which, as you said, is useful once you learn one of them. It's easy to
Mm.
then jump onto the other one. Um, what I see as the main difference is meta ads are obviously social media ads, so they are very image heavy. So in Google, the only really big visual channel is YouTube. The other ones are very like display ads are tiny, and
Mhm.
search ads are very effective because you already have warm audience who is searching for you, but you don't have that space for that imaginary. So I think in maybe I'm not tapping into your question yet about return on investment, but I just feel like that is the main difference between the two. You
Yeah.
need to in Google be able to convey your message without heavy imaginary, whereas in meta ads you can use that. Return on investment, I think, is as in Google we would always obviously say that Google is somehow better. But in my honest opinion, I it just really depends on who you are and where your audience is. I noticed
Mm.
that for older people, Google might be more effective because they are already used to or wanting to use trusting Google more than
Hmm.
maybe scrolling on social media so much. But
Yeah. Also, it's a little harder to compete for people's attention when they are on social media platforms. They're already there with a different mindset. But sometime if you're playful a little bit with your ads and you have that brand that kind of you can really play around with, or you can be a little quirky in the approach. Yeah, that would also work also on my Facebook and all social media ads. Okay, there's already a question in the chat that I will read to you. Um, Someone is asking, Asmon is asking if we can integrate Google search ads, YouTube ads, Google Analytics, etc., in one single dashboard.
um, sorry, say the question again. Sorry.
Google search ads, if you can integrate Google search ads, YouTube ads, Google Analytics, and so on in one single dashboard. I think the only one that doesn't make sense with the rest is Google Analytics.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm assuming this has to be created by you as a dashboard. It does
Yes.
Google does not have one tool that works on all of these.
So Google Analytics would actually be that tool that you would use to get that dashboard. And then you can have, because search and YouTube and so on are different campaigns, you can pull data from different campaigns into one dashboard. It wouldn't do that automatically, but yes, it is possible to do that in Google Analytics. Hopefully that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially if you're doing Google search ads and you're tracking the keywords and you want to see how many clicks you've had, you can do that on Google Analytics.
Yeah.
Okay, just also for Bear Cook, who's asking if it's possible to have the webinar recording. I'm replying to you now. It is recorded and it will be published on the event page as well. And if you want, I can maybe Annie, you can share the link to your LinkedIn if anyone wants to reach out.
Yes.
Um
Sharing the screen.
Michael, I think this is mostly a statement. I'm not sure it was a question, but CRM doesn't help manage all the tools. I think CRM is mostly for customers. Yes, but it should be fairly easy to kind of create a spreadsheet that tracks all of these things. I will be customized for you. It will be way easier than using third-party tools if I'm allowed to say that. If there are any other questions, thank you, Annie. Yeah, so Sunil, all the past webinars are also on the Ecom Connect on individual event pages. So you can watch any session, any previous session. If the recording is not working, just leave me a comment on the event page in the comment section, and I'll sort it out. If there are no other questions, think we can stop here. And thank you very much, Annie. This was a very enjoyable session. And I think it was very useful to everyone who attended. There's one last question from Patrick. Yes, we are waiting for your questions. There are people joining now. Patrick. Also, if anybody wants to unmute and ask the question directly, sometimes it's easier, but if not, just leave it in the comment. I think it's one of those long, complicated questions. I feel like I'm on radio and I'm trying to cover dead air. We were ready to leave, and um, we have one more question. All right, we'll give it a minute. If not, Patrick, you can reach out to Annie directly on LinkedIn or ask the question also on Ecom Connect on the live feed. All right, haven't heard back.
Well, thank you, everyone. It was lovely to get to meet you and to be here. And yeah, thank you.
Well, hopefully we'll have you
Fine.
again.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, and see you another time. He will reach out. It's a long question.
Okay, cool. I'll be waiting for your question, Patrick.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
and have a good evening, everybody.
you too. Bye.
Bye bye.